Hey everyone, welcome back to Echoes from the Satellite. I, as always, am your host, Karen. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Originally, I had planned to talk to you about a horror novel I was reading. But, and this may sound a little weird or maybe a little wimpy to some of you, but I had to stop reading that novel. And the reason why was um, basically, with all the things going on in the world, in the States right now, uh, things not looking great anyway for democracy or free speech and all that. My thoughts a lot of times have been a little negative, and I'm sure some of you can appreciate that. And so when I would have time to go and sit and read my book, which um, was by an author I really like, um, and a horror novel. I figured, hey, it's October, it's spooky time. I wanted to read a horror novel. I found that it was not helping my mental attitude. It was a very dark novel, and I felt like I needed something a little bit light. So I had to DNF it for now. I do want to go back and finish it because I think I will enjoy it at some point when I'm maybe in a different frame of mind. So I said to myself, okay, what is something that's just light and easy and I can read and will not take me down that doom spiral? So I kind of looked at what I'd been getting in and what was in my stack. And so I've been in sort of this frame of mind recently uh, for some monkey business, specifically for some Planet of the Apes business. It started when I did a Kickstarter for this incredible game, this role playing game that just recently arrived on our shores. And so this is a fabulous role playing game all about the original films. And I'm ecstatic to be able to have this and start playing it. And then I started going back and looking at a lot of Planet of the Apes books. And, you know, sometimes we do things and we think at the time it's a good thing. And then later on, we realize maybe it wasn't such a good thing. So when I was a kid, I had collected all of the novelizations of the Planet of the Apes films. And at some point along the way, I had gotten rid of those. I don't know why. It seemed like a good idea at the time. So I'd been looking around here for the last year or two to see if I could find those in the bookstores around here. And man, they are hard to find. There was a time when you would see those in the stores, all the time, and they were easy to pick up, but not anymore, So I had to reach out and look around at different places. And so I picked up this particular copy of Beneath the Planet of the Apes off of Thrift Books. Um, you'll notice it's pretty beat up. It's not in great shape, but it's a good enough reader copy. Um, Now, this is one version of the book. There are two different covers for this book. This is not the version I had as a kid. I had the other version, and I'll put that up on the screen. And that other version has pictures of Cornelius and General Ursus. And so that was the version I had. And I don't know if I'm enough of a completist or maniac to to want to go and get that version. Maybe, maybe not. I don't have a lot of space. But I am glad that I was able to get this version and read it. However, I will say, and this is a very slim book, 134 pages, written by Michael Avalone, of course, based on the screenplay. And I'm really curious at what point did he get either the screenplay or was he able to watch the film? I don't think he saw the movie. I'll say this because there are certain descriptions which don't jive with the movie. Like he describes all the gorilla soldiers as wearing helmets, which we know only General Ursus had a helmet. He describes Ursus as having medals like ceremonious medals on his chest. And there's other things where it makes me think that maybe he read a screenplay, maybe a even an earlier draft of a screenplay, and wrote this book from it. And I will say it is pretty much exactly like the film, except for the very end of the movie. Um, Pretty much even the dialogue is exactly like the film. So I think he had a pretty easy payday on this one. Um, uh, the only thing that is not great is a lot of his descriptive work. At least, oh man, probably 10 times the phrase gimlet eyes is used. Everybody from Zaius to Ursus to Nova have gimlet eyes. It's like, okay, okay, I think you need to use the thesaurus, all right? So that's used a lot. He quite lovingly describes Nova as lithe and curvy and a few other things. So, that must have been the fun part for him. Um, but yeah, pretty much everything that happens beat by beat is exactly what happens in the film, except for the ending, which gets changed around a little bit, um, where uh, Brent is taken out by General Ursus in the book. Ursus is not killed. What else happens? There's a little more interplay between Zaius and Taylor, and Taylor seems to fall on the control stand that activates the bomb, but more by accident than on purpose, it seems like. So that's kind of interesting. All in all, though, this is a very rote um, version of the film. I will say I like reading novelizations of films that I enjoy because I like to see what the authors will do with them. Sometimes you'll get an author who will put in some more information, right? They'll write some extra scenes or extra dialogue. They'll give you some things that will, um, maybe flesh out some scenes or give you some background detail. I think last year I read, let me grab this because I'm slightly prepared here. Last year I got this big honking uh, compilation of Conquest and Battle for the Planet of the Apes. It has the Wahlberg movie in there too, but yuck. So I read Conquest for the Planet of the Apes from here, written by John Jakes. I think his big claim to fame was he wrote a North and South trilogy, and they might have made that into a TV series. But I recall when I read that, um, he added some additional material to Conquest for the Planet of the Apes. So we had some more background into what happened to lead to that sort of um, fascistic uh, situation that we had in the film. And there was a lot of background into how Caesar was building his like underground ape army. All the characters had more details worked out. And so that's the kind of thing I really enjoy seeing in a novelization. And, I've seen similar with the Star Trek films, a lot of the Star Trek films, you see that kind of stuff built out in those. And so that's the kind of thing I really look for. So, you know, this book, if you're a Planet of the Apes fan and you really want to have all the books, of course you've got to have it. But if you're looking for something that's really going to give you more insight into what was going on with the mutants or, what was happening back in Ape City or, political intrigue, you are not going to get any of that with this. This is just a, rote, quick, super quickly written version and mostly just going to, fill space in your collection. So, but I will say it was probably what I needed, a little bit of an antidote to my down in the dumps feeling. So there's that. But let me say, I have some nice friends out there, people who are quite generous and really cool. And so when I was talking about this, I mentioned this on Blue Sky, saying, "Oh, I got this book, but I haven't been able to get the other novelizations, the old ones I've been looking for." And my friend Bill, shout out Bill, said, "Well, I've got some extra. I think I've got some extra Planet of the Apes books. Let me see." Well, Bill was nice enough to send me this Battle for the Planet of the Apes novelization. Even it's still nice in the little baggie too. So thank you, Bill. But not only did Bill do that, he is such a great dude. He sent me a whole bunch of Planet of the Apes comic books, just all sorts from different publishers. There's the Marvel ones, there's these 20th Century Fox ones as I drop them. I think there's Boom Studios. So I can't even hold them all up because my hands aren't big enough. But Bill, you are such a great dude. So thank you for all my Planet of the Apes comic books. Those were quite a surprise. So I appreciate that. So now I have plenty of Planet of the Apes reading to do, and hopefully that will keep me amused. And speaking of people who sent me stuff, here's something else incredibly cool. My friend Billy, not to be confused with Bill, there's Bill, and then there's Billy. So Billy, who was on the show just recently, and we talked about Arthur C. Clarke's Rendezvous with Rama, he knows I love The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and he got this sketch card done for me. This is Jared Albrecht does these sketch cards, and this is just super cool. So I'm going to have to get a little frame for that and get that put up on the wall. Um, but yeah, it's so nice. Like people just think of you and send you stuff. Like that's just amazing to me. So thank you guys for sending that stuff over. Really excited to be able to, kind of rebuild my Planet of the Apes collection. I will say there is one book that I do want to do a show, but I want to do it with a couple of other folks, and I'm trying to figure out how I can work this out. There was a book that came out a few years ago, Tales from the Forbidden Zone. If you're a Planet of the Apes fan and you don't have this book, you need to get this book. This is a collection of short stories, and they take place in different eras with different characters, but it's a really great collection of stories. Just all sorts of fabulous ideas for exploring different aspects of the Planet of the Apes universe. I call it universe because it's not just the films that they're looking at. They also do stuff with the TV series. I feel there is a lot of wasted potential with the TV series, but they do some really cool stuff with the TV series, even crossing over movies and TV. Some people did some stuff with like apes, not using like chimps, orangutans, and gorillas, but other apes. So there's a lot of really, really neat stuff in here. And you could probably still get this off of Amazon if you need to order it, maybe Barnes and Nobles. But this is a great book, and I highly recommend it. And I hope we'll be doing that on the show in the near future. That's about it for this time around. Just wanted to hop in here and kind of give you an update. And maybe we'll be doing some more spooky stuff. I have a book in mind, which I think would be a lot of fun to talk about before we get to Halloween. So anyway, I hope all of you out there are doing really well. I hope you're reading some really great books, and take care, and I'll see you again real soon.